Welcome to DB44 and welcome to yet another episode of Universe Mode. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I am the voice of the UWA. I am Dalton Brock. And what a night of action we have for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. In our main event, we will witness another Universal Championship ladder match qualifying match as Seth Rollins takes on the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre. And that's not all, we also will witness a UWA Tag Team Championship qualifying match between the War Raiders and the Gorillas of Destiny, with the winners going on to Champions Clash to face off against A-Town Down Under. And kicking us off in just a matter of seconds, it is yet another Elimination Fatal 4-Way match to qualify for the International Championship title match at Champions Clash. It will be Omos taking on Dragon Lee, taking on Ethan Page, taking on the big boy Bronson Reed, all for the right to face LA Knight to crown the inaugural international champion. And making their way to the ring first, none other than Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee, of course, a part of the LWO, the Latino World Order. Dragon Lee, if you have not seen this guy before, get ready for an absolute showcase of luchador expertise. Dragon Lee can do things you can't even imagine. Dragon Lee, an absolute unit in that ring, and on that top rope, he does it like no one else. But tonight he has to overcome the odds of two giants, and of course the cunning Ethan Page. Making their way to the ring next will be, speaking of Ethan Page, All Ego himself. Coming out to a chorus of boos and one of my favorite theme songs as of late, Ethan Page. Kill him where it hurts, kill him with a smile. Ethan Page, a man who has been in this industry for years upon years, has traveled all the roads, knows what it takes to be at the top level of a company. Ethan Page, a man who is looking for international championship gold. And remember, the winner of this match will take on the winner of last week's Elimination Fatal 4-Way, that being LA Knight, the man who went through an absolute war just to be able to punch his ticket to Champions Clash. It came down to LA Knight and Jey Uso, in which LA Knight was able to overcome the Yeet Man himself and punch his ticket to Champions Clash. Now bringing out one of the big boys in this match, making his way to the ring, the Nigerian Giant, the man who stands at 7 feet tall, over 400 pounds, Omos. Homo sapiens rise, Omos making his way through the ring. A man who has not quite had the success that he has been looking for, but that could all change tonight. Omos looking to capture the attention of the UWA fan base and looking to punch his ticket to Champions Clash, to go on to be the first international champion. And if this man wins that international championship, I don't think there's anyone taking that title off of him, except for maybe the last man in this matchup, big boy Bronson Reed. Here he comes, sound the alarms. There's a tsunami coming. The quote-unquote Ozzilla, the Aussie Godzilla, Bronson Reed, making his way to the ring. Bronson Reed, that tsunami splash has crippled his opponents in the past. Bronson Reed looking to cause absolute carnage in this matchup on his way to International Championship gold. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get into the first match of the evening. There you see Dragon Lee, Ethan Page, Omos, and of course the man who just entered the ring, the Ozzilla, Bronson Reed. What a collision this matchup is about to be. Ethan Page gonna try to lock up the Auxilla. Ethan Page having success early going in this matchup of Omos able just to immediately just take down Bronson Reed like nothing. And oh my goodness, Bronson Reed just put all of his weight on the sternum of Ethan Page. Ethan Page not in a good way in this match in the early going. Just got almost a 300+ pound man. Just landed on top of him. And gonna try to go right back after him. Not a smart move. Ethan Page finding no success in this matchup. And Bronson Reed, is he looking? I thought he was looking for the tsunami there. Bronson Reed hit the top rope. I thought he was about to hit the tsunami on Ethan Page. And Omos getting caught in the crossfire there. Dragon Lee trying to use his speed advantage over the big man, Omos. Ethan Page gonna keep trying to go after Bronson Reed. Finally finding some success here. That karate background of Ethan Page, the karate man himself. Ethan Page does have a karate background, is not afraid to get in a striking contest with anybody. And you just saw Bronson Reed back down from Omos. You just saw Bronson Reed backing down from Omos. That is how big, that is how intimidating Omos is in person. The screen, watching him through a screen does not do it justice. Omos is a huge beast of a man. Now, just crippled Dragon Lee with one punch. Ethan Page gonna dig under the ring. Gonna find himself a weapon, an equalizer in this matchup. Wasn't able to find what he was looking for there just yet. Oh, I see what he was doing. Ethan Page had other ideas. You have two big men in the ring. He's gonna look for a big weapon to take them down. But there's Dragon Lee with a sledgehammer, derailing any momentum of Ethan Page. Dragon Lee was able to strike first with that sledgehammer. The steel steps are heavy. Ethan Page, nothing he can do about it, eating a knee strike from Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee, Dragon Twist Cutter. Dragon Lee in the cover. Omos to be eliminated by Dragon Lee. I forgot this is elimination for a minute. Ethan Page still incapacitated on the outside. No eliminations have occurred thus far in this matchup. This match has come down to who is the last man standing. That last man standing will go against LA Knight, to crown the inaugural international champion at Champions Clash. Dragon Lee able to avoid disaster there, that double choke bomb from Omos. And Ethan Page, a backbreaker to Dragon Lee. Page in the cover now. Referee counting from across the ring. It is only a 2 count, says the ref. May have been a 1. Page now gonna return back to Old Faithful. Oh, but Dragon Lee able to avoid it. Ethan Page crashing into the steps there. Clutching at his lower back. He might have hit his lower back on the steps there. Referee just trying to keep up with all the carnage happening. And Ethan Page almost inadvertently saving Dragon Lee, sorry. Now Ethan Page caught. And Ethan Page being eliminated by a roll-up there. Ethan Page being eliminated early in this match by Bronson Reed via a roll-up of all things. Omos now. Omos now looking to continue to bring on the punishment on Dragon Lee. Omos clearly the heavy favorite to win this matchup, no pun intended. But Bronson Reed gonna do everything in his power, lifting up the 400+ pound man, dropping him on the top of his dome. Bronson Reed in the cover. No way. And a kick out by the big man. Dragon Lee trying to fire himself up, trying to find any place that he can hit his offense in this match. Dragon twist cutter. Good night, Bronson Reed. 2, and a kick out from Bronson. And now Omos, that sledgehammer. Looks like a kid's toy in his hands. Bronson Reed out cold. Omos just leveled Dragon Lee with a baseball bat straight to the dome. Still Dragon Lee able to hold on in this matchup though. Now Omos returning the favor, lifting up the big Ozilla and just slamming him down. And Bronson Reed, is able to kick out at 2.9. Choking, sorry. And Dragon Lee taking down his knee pads. We know what's coming next. Dragon Lee incoming. Taking him down with another Dragon Twist Cutter. 2, and that's 3. Big Bronson Reed is eliminated. It is down to Omos and Dragon Lee and Omos. Short-lived momentum for Dragon Lee. Just met reality. That being the big Nigerian giant, Omos. Dragon Lee. Omos was not there for that. It might have been too tall for Dragon Lee to hit what he was looking for there. Dragon Lee gonna have to adjust his offense to meet the height of Omos. And Lee getting caught in the choke bomb. And Omos now just a foot covering Dragon Lee. And Dragon Lee able to kick out. Lee was able to kick out. Lee able to save his championship hopes and dreams. And if you're LA Knight, you hope that Dragon Lee can somehow pull off a miracle here tonight. Oh! Hitting Omos with a knee to the gut, that exposed knee. And Dragon Lee calling for it. Dragon twist. Good night. Is this all she wrote? Omos being taken out by Dragon Lee. The dragon slays the giant. Dragon Lee is going to Champions Clash. It will be Dragon Lee versus LA Knight to crown the inaugural international champion here in the UWA here on Adapt. Now we entered into some tag team action for the evening. Making their way to the ring, Eric and Ivar, the team known as the War Raiders. The winner of this matchup will be going on to fight to become the first ever UWA Tag Team Champions at our first pay-per-view Champions Clash. The winning team will go on to face A-Town Down Under to crown the inaugural UWA Tag Team Champion. Competing here tonight is obviously the War Raiders, and they will be taking on the team known as... That's a great question because I'm blanking right now. The War Raiders taking on a random team. We will find out in a moment. Eric and Ivar. Two big boys, very deceptive in their roles in this team. Eric, the bald one, is actually the powerhouse of the team, and Ivar, the bigger of the two, is actually the high flyer of the team. Both men just love to fight, love to go to war, as you can see. And tonight, whoever their opponents are going to have a lot to deal with here. Making their way to the ring, their opponents here tonight, the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, making their first appearance as a team here in the UWA, as is the War Raiders. Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, two members of the esteemed Bloodline. Obviously the Bloodline not a thing here in the UWA. But Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, two men who are here to run this industry, who are here to run the UWA with an iron fist, and to do that, they have to get through to bloodthirsty Vikings, the War Raiders. I forgot who they were facing. That's funny. And the bell has run. Eric gonna start things off against Tongaloa. Tongaloa, big move there to start things off. Just dropping Eric over his head, and now just stomping down Eric in the early going of this matchup. The crowd obviously behind the War Raiders here in the early going. I don't think anybody wants to see the Gorillas of Destiny versus A-Town Down Under. We want to see A-Town Down Under get humbled by two big Vikings, Eric and Ivar, and a sidestep there from Eric, and a clothesline to follow. Eric bringing the war straight to Tongaloa. And Tongaloa able to get the better of that exchange. And Eric gonna slap him in the back of the neck, saying no sir. And Eric gonna continue to try to bring the fight. And Tongaloa now gonna bring in some more strikes of his own. The infamous Tongaloa, a very dangerous individual. Both men very dangerous, messed up individuals. One more so than the other. Tama Tonga, the man on the outside of the ring, a very unhinged, unwell man. You see Eric with his striking ability, just piecing up Tongaloa. Oh, Eric missing that forearm. I believe Tongaloa may have stepped backwards as Eric was going for that punch. And now in the corner of the Gorillas of Destiny. Not the place you want to be. The Gorillas of Destiny doing a good job keeping Eric on their side of the ring, and there's the unhinged Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga just going to start having his way with Eric and just flapjacking him down to the mat. Eric, no clue where he is right now, not able, so far away from Ivar, so far away from being able to make a tag to his partner, his brother, his Viking brother. Both men not related by blood, but they have a bond that most brothers wish they had. And now an easy kick out by Eric there, who's trying with everything he has to keep fighting. Now bringing the punishment back to Tongaloa, but Tongaloa gonna shut him down right there. Oh, interrupting the tag. But Tama Tonga paying dividends for his brother. And there's the power driver. This is all she wrote. Now Ivar getting involved. I believe he might have thought there was going to be a pinfall attempt there. Helping out Eric, telling Eric to get over here, make the tag. Eric just too powerful, just launching Tongaloa into the corner. And now has him up. There's the kick to the back of the dome in the corner of the Viking Raiders. But Tama Tonga there to break it up. Oh, tried to take out Tama Tonga, but eating a right hand for his troubles. And now a knee. Eric able to drop kick Tongaloa. Tongaloa not in a very good way here. Now going to be a victim of the Viking experience. So I thought was able to switch the momentum there, whipping Eric instead. And now straight back into the Gorillas of Destiny corner. Not going to let him make the tag to Tama Tonga. Eric now going to toss him into the corner, but once again Tongaloa able to switch it. Ivar was trying to reach. Tongaloa was trying to help out Eric there. Now Tama Tonga, the unhinged, unwell man, gonna be the one who is the legal man. And now and a boot in the corner, getting in the face of Eric. Or getting in the face of Ivar, sorry. Eric now back in the corner of the Gorillas of Destiny, able to get out of that again. Just trying to block the strikes of Tanga Loa. Now Tama Tonga in the corner of the War Raiders, and up he goes, and down he goes. That is what you call a double team power bomb. Just got sent through the mat. Now Tama Tonga not gonna, and once again Ivar now not gonna let Tama Tonga make that tag. Went for that cutter, eating a kick instead. And Ivar not able to drag Tama Tonga back to the Viking corner. And now just being jumped in the corner by the Gorillas of Destiny. Referee not able to do anything. The Gorillas of Destiny know the rules. Count of 5, get out of the ring. Nothing the ref can do past counting. I don't even think the ref is counting. Flying headbutt now from Tanga Loa. And Ivar able to shake him off. That leg bending in an awkward angle. Tanga Loa might have to get that checked out. And a big move in the corner. Big splash in the corner. And Eric now has Tanga Loa where he wants him. And now the setup for what we all have been waiting to see. The Viking experience. Good night, Tanga Loa. 2 and almost a 3. Referee almost was able to get the 3. Eric running perfect interference. Eric was able to run perfect interference. Was able to keep Tama Tonga from breaking up the tag, but it was Tanga Loa who was able to kick out. These names are really hard to say. That's a tongue twister. Ivar had Tanga Loa up, and Tanga Loa was able to escape out the back door. And now, I don't know exactly what Tanga Loa is looking for here. Gave Ivar room to breathe, not something you want to do. And now dropping him on the knee in the cover now. 1, 2, and that's a 3. No, it is a 2. Tanga Loa able to kick out. Now the tag back to Eric. Dropping the knee. Now laying in these heavy strikes on Tanga Loa. Tanga Loa able to catch him though. Able to catch him. Now a power slam from Tanga Loa. And a leg drop to follow. Shout out Hogan. And now Tama Tonga has Eric in his sights. Was going for a boot in the corner. Eric able to deliver one of his own. Still, I don't think he knew where he was after sustaining the punishment from Tanga Loa. And now, up he goes. And good night, Eric. But Ivar there to break up the cover. A much more competitive match than last week's match between Chase U and A-Town Down Under. A-Town Down Under had a much easier ride to the championship match. These two teams absolutely going to war tonight. Nothing short of what we expected. And now a spear from Eric. Eric is the legal man. Despite any confusion, Eric is the legal man. Tanga Loa the legal man as well. Referee counting. Got to be careful of disqualification here. And I believe that could be what he's looking for. Tanga Loa keeping Ivar in the ring. Tried to keep Ivar in the ring to cause a disqualification. Ivar finally able to get out of the ring. Now Eric gonna take care of the Tama Tonga problem. And now has Tonga Loa where he wants him. In the corner he goes, and no, able to avoid what we all were expecting, that Viking experience. And now the hot tag being made. Ivar, the legal man, Big Ivar. Now on a trade of strikes, and Tonga Loa able to get the better of it. I don't know if the War Raiders have anything left. And now being set up for this move, the dangerous move, the Tongan twist. Good night, Ivar. And that's all she wrote. The Gorillas of Destiny going on. The Champions Clash. It will be the Gorillas of Destiny versus A-Town Down Under to crown the inaugural UWA Tag Team Champions. But now it is time to get into your main event, another ladder match qualifying match. It is now main event time, ladies and gentlemen. It is yet another ladder match qualifying match. This match, the ladder match for the Universal Championship, will kick off our first pay-per-view Champions Clash. Seth Rollins making his way to the ring, the visionary, the revolutionary Seth frickin' Rollins. And it was Roman Reigns beating Finn Balor last week to qualify for the ladder match. And this week, Seth Rollins gonna have to deal with the Scottish psychopath that is Drew McIntyre. Rollins being serenaded by this crowd, singing his song. Seth Rollins, such a dangerous man in the middle of that ring, cold, calculated. Don't let this demeanor fool you. Don't let the dancing fool you. Seth Rollins is an architect in that ring for a reason. Knows every single weakness of Drew McIntyre, knows what makes him tick, and that is what Drew McIntyre is going to have to deal with here tonight. And speaking of Drew McIntyre, here comes the Scottish psychopath himself. McIntyre just enters an arena and you feel the atmosphere shift. Cold, angry, absolutely psychotic. All words to describe Drew McIntyre. A very unhinged and unwell man. You put him in a ladder match with a title on the line, there's no promise of what he's going to do. Drew McIntyre looking to run through the visionary Seth Rollins here tonight. Looking to punch his ticket to Champions Clash. Looking to kick off Champions Clash in fashion by winning a Universal Championship. It is Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. The ladder match, the ladder spot in the Universal Championship ladder match on the line. Here we go. It's been a while since I've done live commentary. Just bear with me, guys. McIntyre gonna start things off with a lockup on Rollins, and McIntyre immediately just going to use the power advantage he has over Rollins. Bit of a Falcon Arrow there. McIntyre's a clear power advantage over Seth. These two trying just to get a gauge of each other early in the early going of this matchup. Now a bit of a chain wrestling maneuver here from Rollins. Rollins able to get behind him. McIntyre able to switch it. Now locking in a headlock. Sort of hammer fist to the back of the head of Rollins. And Rollins able to switch it now. Has the arm behind the back of McIntyre. McIntyre nowhere to really go. McIntyre just being worked around by Seth Rollins. Rollins, this is where he is comfortable. This is where Rollins thrives. McIntyre, more of a brawler. Rollins going to do everything in his power just to wear down his opponents, pick apart every weakness he can find of his opponents. And McIntyre now using that power advantage. McIntyre using the power he has over Rollins and driving him into the corner, forcing the ref to break it up. And you saw that cheap shot there from McIntyre as well. McIntyre not a man who's afraid of taking shortcuts. Any shortcut he can find on the way to get what he wants, he is going to take. And now a sling blade from Rollins. Rollins now incoming. Went for that knee. Went for a knee. A springboard knee from Rollins. Missing wildly. And McIntyre tried to go for a vertical suplex. Rollins was able to escape and back in the tie-up now. Once again, McIntyre going to force the ref to break it up. McIntyre tried to charge Rollins back into the corner. Rollins just too quick. McIntyre being sent over the ropes. And a kick from Rollins. Rollins sending McIntyre to the outside of the ring. Just taunting him. Just standing by the ref and taunting him. Now Rollins picking up McIntyre. McIntyre eating that Revolution knee. Drew able to kick him off. Now you have Drew McIntyre on the outside of the ring. This is not where you want to be when you're facing someone like Drew. McIntyre has all the tools he needs on the outside of the ring to inflict maximum punishment, just like this. And a knee driving into the side of the face of Rollins. Rollins somehow back to his feet. Man just operates on a different level compared to anyone else. Tried to go for a discus punch. That is where Rollins made the mistake. Gave McIntyre room to breathe. And McIntyre just trying to punish Rollins. As Rollins able to try to reverse for the time being. McIntyre now. Scottish. A Scottish headbutt, a Glasgow kiss from McIntyre. McIntyre able to avoid that moonsault, that lion salt attempt from Rollins. And now in the corner, a boot. Big boot from McIntyre. Now in the cover, McIntyre has Rollins where he wants him, and a kick out by Rollins. These two will just rip each other apart in the name of being the first ever Universal Champion. McIntyre to go and join Roman Reigns in that ladder match. And on episode 4 of Adapt, we will see a last chance qualifying match. So whoever doesn't win this matchup still has a chance to go to Champions Clash. Still has a chance to be in that ladder match. Now Rollins avoiding the dangerous predicament there. Rollins able to free himself from certain doom. Now Rollins has this submission locked in. McIntyre able to get out of it with ease. Just too powerful. Just too strong for Rollins. McIntyre now just tossing Rollins over the ropes. McIntyre going to take this back to where he wants this matchup to be. On the outside of the ring, where he can do whatever he chooses to Seth Rollins. Speaking of now, just going to toss him back in the ring. No idea what McIntyre's doing, just almost just staring at the lifeless body of Seth Rollins. Like I said, McIntyre just not a well individual at all. Went for that chop. Rollins was able to duck it. McIntyre now in danger. And a package, power drive, not a power drive, whatever, from Seth Rollins. Like I said, been a while since I've done live commentary. Rollins undershot that clothesline attempt. McIntyre. I thought he was going to go for the Claymore kick there. Rollins able to counter. Thankfully, that could have been the end of Seth Rollins. McIntyre has to avoid this, has to avoid the onslaught of Rollins. Now Rollins charging something up, a forearm in the corner. Rollins in control. Rollins is moving right now. Went for a curb stomp attempt, it looked like, and to catch him with the enziguri instead. McIntyre not in a good place. Right where Rollins wants him. Knee strike attempt. Had to change it to a clothesline instead. McIntyre in danger and a kick out at nothing. McIntyre saying, I'm not in danger at all. Just has to overcome the onslaught of Rollins and eating a drop kick for his troubles. And Rollins now just trying just to wear down McIntyre, preventing him from hitting any of his big moves, hitting any explosive moves, taking out the back of McIntyre. McIntyre being forced just to try to roll to the outside of the ring, trying to get away from Seth. And now being dropped on the apron where steel meets wood. McIntyre now. There's a forearm, and McIntyre, I believe, is trying to go for the Glasgow kiss again. That headbutt. And now Rollins back in control, this time on the outside of the ring. McIntyre. Not a good way, count of 3. Rollins has McIntyre right where he wants him, delivering these kicks to the face, square on the nose of McIntyre. McIntyre, nothing he can do about this. This is just an all-out assault from Seth Rollins. Count of 4 now. Rollins just watching McIntyre, just telling him to get back in the ring. Knows McIntyre has enough to get back in this. So we thought. McIntyre going to take all the time he wants. Now climbing up on the top rope. McIntyre from the top, able to clip Rollins there. Able to do what he was looking for, I guess. McIntyre now, Glasgow kiss. Good night. And McIntyre now counting down to the end of Seth Rollins. Claymore kick. Claymore kick to Seth Rollins. McIntyre says he's going to go one more time. Another Claymore kick to Seth Rollins. This might be the end of Seth. And somehow Seth Rollins able to kick out. Just trying to crawl, trying to find something here. This is very well just McIntyre's match at this point. Has Rollins right where he wants him. And now eating the buckle. Rollins able to avoid certain doom there. Now curb stomp from Rollins. Is this all she wrote? And Rollins able to avoid certain doom, hitting the curb stomp. And Rollins picking up the victory. And you gotta believe McIntyre is absolutely livid right now. Had Rollins where he wanted him. And Rollins was able to overcome, hitting that curb stomp, shutting the lights out for McIntyre. And Rollins is going to Champions Clash to fight for the Universal Championship. Thank you all for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave feedback, and as always, God bless you all. Peace.